Now we're live. Now we're looking at this beautiful thumbnail, which is just a big laser blast shot. See,
it is a beautiful thumbnail with a big laser blast. Did any of you guys happen to see that video from Squanch Games today about Trover? They did like a Trover reporting the news, and they're talking about how nobody bought it, that they're too busy playing Pistol Whip and Moss instead.
They should have made the Moss sequel. Yeah, dude, you should follow me on Twitter because I posted that like 3 days ago.
It was from
I haven't seen that. Well, they probably retweeted it themselves or something.
Yep. Follow me on Twitter, guys, at Parole PSVR. I don't know who this AJ guy is thinking he's all that on Twitter. But oh, wait, guys.
Premium exclusive screenshots, Brian. Exclusive screenshots. I don't see an exclusive
They fell off the back of a truck.
On your Twitter.
Those screenshots fell off the back of a truck.
Let's start the show.
All right. Start it.
This is PSVR Gamescast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I feel like we did this recently, but not all that many times recently, so it must be Wednesday. Haha, we're right in the middle of the fucking week. My name's Brian Paul from this channel right here, PSVR without Parole, and the guys from right, the boys, Dave from Dave Station, Beard, R. Oh, you're muted, man. It's like...
Very funny, Brian. Very funny. I like that.
And that guy on the right-hand side of the screen is AJ from The Underground, PSVR Underground.
What's up, guys? It's nice to beard you.
Oh.
God damn it. It's nice to beard here.
How many beards are here tonight?
What is up, Brian? What is up, Dave? What is up, Gamecats? Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Hopefully you're doing lots of humping out there. I don't know.
God damn it.
We are halfway through the week.
There's no humping going on over here.
Man, we've got some exciting stuff. So we had a game come out this week I am so excited to talk about.
At long last.
And yeah, man, at long last, because it's been a bit of a drought lately.
Hopefully everybody is hanging out live, because if you're live, you'll see that First Contact Entertainment is already in the chat, dropping keys for Solaris left and right, EU, NA.
Yeah.
You guys are killing it. Thank you very much. Can't wait to talk about Solaris in a little bit. But first, we want to take care of a little bit of housekeeping. And that housekeeping involves our Discord channel, Discord server even. That is the link is in the description below. Make sure you join us over there, because not only can you get out on some games of Solaris, but also we're doing a weekly Gamecat meetup in terms of playing some games that don't get enough love. Getting some blood in the servers, man. And this Sunday, we're going to be kicking off Wipeout. We're going to just kick off the Gamecat meetup night with
Wipeout.
Like, can you throw a quick bass line in there for me, man? Just to kind of
Wipeout.
That was way better than a bass line.
Yeah.
So make sure you get in over on our Discord. We'll play some Wipeout with you, and we'll see how it all goes. It should be a lot of fun. Thank you, Rody, so much in the chat for posting that link.
Oh, damn it, AJ. Now they're off the hump. Off-court Dave Station team says he's got to go hump now.
Go do it, man.
Don't encourage them.
Make me proud.
Listen, some
wait
things...
till after the show. You tell your girlfriend, we'll wait till after the show, okay?
Just don't get pregnant.
This is my time. This is my time.
Some things in life are more important than Gamescast. And getting you hump on hump day.
It's true. All right.
It's like not smoking on 420. It's like, come on, man, it's hump day. Get your hump on, right? Way more important than what we're doing over here. I'm sure Tiff really nailed the bass line in the chat. That was good. I like that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of onomatopoeia around here. Not enough onomatopoeia. I always say that every time we end Gamescast, I go, not enough onomatopoeia.
We are really fluffing this one up, aren't we?
I'm just so out of it today that I'm just
5 goddamn minutes.
flying by the seat of my pants. Don't forget that if you want to support us on Patreon and be part of this illustrious list of cats on the bottom of the screen, you hit us up on patreon.com/withoutparolegames. Guys, we really do want to fluff this up a little bit, and I got something special in the mail today. This came from our new friend, and the guy who made Boxed In. Was it Red? I'm going to get it wrong. Red Art Games.
Red Chain.
Yeah, Red Art makes retro games or something. So he sent me this. Right? I got this big long thing, big thing in the mail. It's like so he makes Boxed In, and on the bottom of this little notice, right? I'll read what it says. It says, "Dear Brian, Dave, and AJ, I couldn't resist the temptation. Please accept these posters as thank you for playing our game." Okay.
Oh wow, did he find my address somehow? Should I be
Let me
looking for one of
see.
those?
He
Hold
sent.
on, I can't see it.
Well, I didn't show it to you yet. He
Oh,
he sent all 3 to me, and
What?
and so I will be sending them to you guys. But these are posters of Boxed In.
Oh, okay.
Now
They look shiny.
they are
Are
super
they, like,
shiny.
laminated?
No, they're not,
Okay.
but definitely
Like a plasticky kind of material.
yeah, quality posters, man. Now I just want to if Ryan from the VR Grid is out there, I just want to say, hey Ryan. Suck it, because I don't know how many box quotes you have, but how many poster quotes do you have? This one comes from AJ, PSVR Underground.
Oh,
And
no
let me
way.
read it to you.
No
Let me read it to you. It says, I was actually pleasantly surprised. I thought it was going to be trash. AJ at PSVR Underground. That might be the best box quote ever.
Oh my god.
So I just wanted
Oh,
to thank you,
man.
thank you so much for sending these along.
That's incredible.
This is the greatest ad promotion you could ever have for your game. And AJ, congratulations! I know you've wanted to have a box quote for a long time, and now you have something even better. Suck it,
Let's
Ryan.
go.
Poster quote.
Oh man, dude, that's going up like right here or something.
I thought it was
that's
going
gonna
to be
on the
trash.
screen. Oh,
We
that
gotta,
is
we gotta
awesome,
sneak
man.
into
Thank
a
you.
GameStop overnight somehow and like put it up on the wall without them noticing.
That
Their
is
employees
super-
aren't paid enough to care to take it down, I think.
That is
So
super
probably we'll
kind of
throw
you.
it up.
Thank you so much, man.
Right.
Thank you so much. That
Too
means a lot.
funny. Too funny.
That is great.
Showed up at my door today, and I was like, because I knew it was going to be something funny, and that was hilarious. Guys, but I don't think we need to waste any more time. 7 goddamn minutes. It's time to get into the topic of the day, and that, of course, is Solaris Offworld Combat, which came out yesterday on the PlayStation Store. It retails for $25, but for the first 2 weeks, it is $12.49 with Plus, meaning anyone who can play it is paying $12.49 for the first 2 weeks because it does require Plus. $12.49. Guys, as we always do, can we start off with what we loved about our first 24 hours with Solaris Offworld Combat?
That price.
The
Ooh,
price,
that
baby.
That
I'm
price,
so glad
baby.
you started with it. That
Man.
price is gold. Oh
And
my
getting to use
god.
this guy for something.
That's
I mean,
true.
Alvo is great. I've been playing Alvo too, but this is also any new game that can use this thing. I'm always really stoked on, and uses this pretty well. But I don't know, Brian. What was your favorite thing
I mean, my favorite thing? I mean,
besides the price?
well, I mean, let's stick on the price for a second here because
Yeah.
I loved the thought of, hey, it's more important to get as many people playing our game as it is for us to make a few bucks like on day 1 or day 2 or day 14, right? It's like all of these games live and die based on their player base. And knowing that and how important that is means that these guys killed it out of the gate. They said, hey, they made it almost irresistible. I saw so many comments that said, Brian, I'm not even waiting for your review. I'm sorry. It's so cheap that I can't say no. Right, so what a great deal going in, and I think they probably got a ton of people picking this thing up on day 1, just because of the price point. So it's hard to argue with that at all.
Yeah, and it seems like they've been pretty generous handing out keys to people too. I mean, we've got a few in our chat already. I think in my chat, Frank came through and dropped some last night. So yeah, I mean they're
Thank
getting
you,
out there
boy.
trying to get
Guys.
everybody on those servers.
Yeah,
Guys, let's be real here. Look, I know a lot of people are going to be like, don't compare A, B, and C to each other, but we have to compare, starting with the price of Alvo and
sure.
Firewall and Solaris Offworld Combat.
Yeah.
And this is what I like to see, man. I love to see, especially if you're trying to get a strong player base going and stuff, or I just think it was a brilliant move to have this for $12.50. That is like nothing. I've gone to I've talked about before, going to the aquarium. There's like a little VR ride, and it was a piece of shit. And that was $13. This costs less than that, and I get to own it forever. And so I absolutely love the price. I mean, to me, it's like, even if you don't have an aim controller yet, it's still like, buy it. And just in case you get one, because you want to take advantage of the price point right now while it's hot. And yeah, man, Alvo, like I said, we've voiced that, I love Alvo. I think that it's a lot of fun and everything, but I made it very clear that I was not happy about the price point. So I don't really, I don't mean to be insensitive to some people out there, but I don't care. I'm going to make the comparison about the price point, and this price point absolutely crushes it compared to that one. I think it's much more consumer friendly, and it makes it harder to have complaints about the game when it's such a good deal. And this is not like some kind of beta thing. This game doesn't need a lot of work. It is ready to go day one. We'll get into that more about what's in the game so far, but it is like, there is just the game. It's ready to go, and it's super cheap, and I love it.
Yeah, just to play devil's advocate here. Alvo is a higher price, and it's much higher than we all thought it should be. But comparatively, and I don't want to get too deep into the content because we'll cover that later, but it has more modes. It has more stuff to unlock that actually gives you in-game sort of rewards that feel like different guns, different loadouts for your guns, that kind of stuff. And it's a much different vibe that certain people will enjoy more. So, you're getting less with Solaris, but it's a really tight package and it's way cheaper, so it's totally worth it.
Yeah, I mean, if we're temporarily going down this comparison route here, if you're having a ton of fun with Alvo, then I can't recommend picking this one up enough. Like, this is saying, hey, if you love Alvo, man, but you just need a little bit of variety in your life for $12.50. Why wouldn't you want to pick this up and have a little more variety in your life? We got Firewall, we get the tactical thing, and now we've got two different kind of more arcade shooters, fast-paced things, allows fighting, right? And so why wouldn't you want to have all of this in your life? And again, we've just to say one more thing about the price. Worst case scenario, this game has a 2-week shelf life. Worst case scenario, just pretend like everything goes to hell. I'm gonna get my $12.50 out of this game over the course of the 2 weeks. I feel like I already have to.
I feel like I already have too.
So much fun last night. Drew in the chat is saying, I had too much fun last night. 2 hours late for work today. That's how much fun we had. That's how much fun we had, guys.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, I played a bunch yesterday. I played more today, and I'm gonna play even more. And the truth is, I already feel like I've gotten my $12 worth out of the several hours, but I still plan on playing so much more because it's just fun and addicting. And there's a great game loop. The gameplay, man. Is it time to move on to the gameplay?
Yeah, dude.
Well, I just want to ask if I can squad up with you, AJ. Would you have me?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. I just haven't played a multiplayer game with you in so long. It sounds like it'd be fun.
No, I played with Brian yesterday, and it was a blast, man.
Sweet.
Fucking dominated.
Met some randoms online. Yeah, we went undefeated. It was absolutely great. The streak did eventually come to an end.
That's what happened to us, too. Yeah, we were on a really good run. We had Hack, we had Drew, and then we had, oh my God, they're going to be so mad at me. I'm blanking.
Lots of people
Dude, we had
late to work today, apparently, because of Solaris.
Yeah, I was playing before the show to capture some new footage. That's actually what you're watching in the corner of the screen right now. You get to watch me die a lot, right?
Oh,
but the fact is, and we'll get to this right now. The gameplay is crazy fun, and it's not about how often you die. It's about or how many kills you get versus how many deaths you have. It's 100% based on being able to stay in the score zone as long as possible, and the longer you stay in there, the more points you get. And I will just give a shout out real quick to Rhodey, the Gamecat, and Belramio, who were both my teammates today, along with a couple other cats we picked up on the way. We went in as 3 people, and we, over the course of an hour and a half or so, we grabbed 3 different people that were coming and going. And so thank you to all the cats out there who we get to play with and play against. It was a really good time. Which one of you guys wants to kind of tackle, though, exactly how the gameplay works?
I think I'll do that, if that's okay, because I was noticing a lot of people that I was playing against, the reason we were kicking their ass was not because they were worse at shooting us.
Yeah.
It's because they weren't understanding how to get those points. And so here's how you get those points. Here's how you win the match. There are different zones that shift, as time goes on after a certain time frame. I think maybe a minute and a half, something like that. And you go and you control this point, but there's a certain area right in the middle that you need to post up on. And if you're there for long enough, you score a point. If your whole team is there, you score more points. So you pretty much want to coordinate and cover that point as well as you can, and then you just get together and move on to the next one. So it's not so much about killing. I mean, you get a stat at the end for how many times you shot people, and it's super helpful, obviously, if you murk a guy.
Right.
One less guy to take over the point.
They call it ejections and assists as well. You get points.
So, I was getting MVP almost every round just because I was holding the point while everyone was running around shooting people, and they were like, "Dave, how'd you get MVP? You didn't kill that many people." And it's like, that's not how to win. You don't have to kill people. You hold the point. And so I think really learning how to move between areas and stuff, because there's a lot of teleports with numbers and it'll have like a big 3 on your screen, and you're like, how do I get to number 3? Oh, there's the teleporter for number 3. Let me slide through the teleport real quick.
About the teleport, that is one thing that I really liked as well, is some of the maps, like these are all arenas, right? And some of them they're actually connected by these teleport, like little teleporters. And what's cool is like you can see there's like a window right before the teleporter or right after the teleporter, and you can see like far in the distance the next building over. So like you're not just running around one small space. I like how they broke it up. It's pretty creative stuff. How you're actually running into you actually see the place you're about to teleport to, and like it's easy to get to, but like you see that it's really far away. And I thought that was a pretty creative level design.
Yeah. I mean, the levels look similar enough to the point where sometimes I wasn't sure if I'd already played it. But then once you figure out the design of them, like some of them are more vertical, some of them are spread out, like you said, in different areas. Some of them don't have teleporters like that, and they're all just connected in one spot. So I do think that my initial thought was like, man, these levels look kind of bland and samey before I played it. And now once you get used to the levels, it's like, oh, this one, I like this one because it has a specific thing in it that I enjoy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not as samey as it might have looked from outside.
Yeah, to both of your points, definitely there's a little bit more strategy involved in this than I expected there to be, which is great because sometimes we were playing this one specific map, I'm sure you guys are familiar with it, where the zone is like just this tiny little corridor, right? So, and it's in the middle. There's a teleporter on each side of it, but there's also hallways on both sides of it. Yep. And so like if you don't have control of the zone and you think you're going to just teleport in and take everybody out, well, if you're really good, maybe you're lucky, but if you're better at strategizing, you can kind of like flank from both sides of the hallway and not use the teleporters. It takes you an extra few seconds to get there, but like then you can strategize with your team.
You don't get the firing squad when you pop out, because a lot of times I would pop out of the teleporter and there's 4 guys with guns pointed right at my ass. Like,
yeah.
God, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that.
So it's not just that though. It's not just like, oh, there's like all the strategy involved. It's like the fact that these zones are different shapes and stuff. Some are just out in the middle of the open, but in general, I mean, they're all kind of out in the open, making it harder to keep control of.
Some have built-in cover though. That's kind of interesting. There's a few levels where you'll go into a room and it's like laser tag style, cover things, and then the points inside that. But if you're hiding behind the cover, directly behind the cover, you're not getting points. So you kind of like do a dance there. It's pretty fun once you get the strategy.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, there is a strategy to it, which is to win the match. You have to capture the zones for 10 seconds. You have to stay in there for 10 seconds to get points. But, it's not just that. You do have to kill people to win, because not technically, but you do. Otherwise, they're going to wipe you out.
Of course,
Like that is a big core part of the game. If you have no enemies capturing the other points or stopping you from capturing the point, then you're going to win the match for sure.
Oh, yeah. And it's really satisfying to get that headshot, too, that ka-chunk sound that you landed that headshot and the reticle lights up a certain way. It's very satisfying to kill people for sure. Or eject their athlons. Sorry. I shouldn't say it's very satisfying to kill people.
Kill them.
I'm going to take that out of context.
It is funny. So, like when you eject them, because you're playing as these, like the story behind the game is like you're supposed to be. It's an esports event. Like in the future, it actually almost has some kind of like Ready Player One tournament kind of style thing going on with it. But yeah, it is funny to see the animations when you hit somebody with a rocket or something and you catch them, and the way their body kind of like sometimes rolls or like it like slows down and comes to a stop and then dissipates or whatever.
Yeah,
like
it reminds me of Super Hot a little bit. The way they have that sort of pose where they go back before they shatter.
And it's not always the same animation is what I like. It is almost like there's a couple different animations depending on where you hit. Which I like to see a little bit of like almost like physics involved with the hit detection or something with it, because I've noticed different impacts have a different result for it. Sometimes I've seen a dude do like a front flip and then he stops upside down and then disappears. It's pretty cool looking.
One thing that I think is funny about this, and this is not a dig by any means, it just was funny to me when I was playing last night, is that we're in this super futuristic world, right? They're playing this super futuristic esports game. And they still haven't come up with anything better than Unreal Tournament, basically. Like, it's just guys with guns running around real fast, shooting each other, and then dying and coming back.
So that's the thing.
It's like you'd think in this utopian future of the 1,000 years from now, whatever, where they're playing this, they would have come up with some different game than running around shooting each other with guns. But
it'd be much more, yeah. But that's the thing though. There's been so many attempts. The one thing I love is that there's been so many attempts at this style of game. We've seen it with games like Telefrag, that have this kind of they go for this fast-paced arena style combat, and every single one has failed. I feel like this is the first one that actually got it right and actually made it fun and stuff, and the gameplay is really good. And just after so many failed attempts, it's just so nice to see, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, First Contact has so much experience with Firewall Zero Hour. I'm sure it's a slightly different team, probably a smaller team. But you see some of that experience. I see some of the same assets and stuff. Not very, very tiny little details, stuff like some of the sound effects and some of the body IK and stuff does sort of the same stuff. And I'm glad they reused some of that stuff and repackaged it, because that was valuable core coding and design that made its way into this game that was really needed.
Twitcher says they came up with rigs, Dave, but no one wanted to play it.
Yep, nailed it.
That is the perfect response to what I was just saying. Real quick, I want to call out the save, or not the save, the loading screen UI. When you're going in, when you first put on the helmet, right? And it goes black and that thing pops up. That is my favorite shit.
I love
so
that.
fucking cool. You don't know until you see it in the headset, but it's like, when that helmet first goes on, I wish it happened more often, honestly. I wish it happened between every match. It's so cool. The only thing is that if you get stuck in there too long, it begins to lose its luster, and you're like, okay, get me out of this helmet. I've been here for too long. But it's a really, really cool loading screen UI. It's like one of my favorites. I know
it's like Iron Man. It's kind of like Iron Man, like booting up and stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying, like with Iron Man too. Like, I liked the loading screen a lot, but then when it overstayed its welcome, I was like, no, this is not good anymore. So
yeah, no, it was good. I definitely like the helmet, and honestly, the HUD overall is it seems like there's a lot going on, but once you realize what you're looking at, it took me. I mean, it's simple stuff, right? But like especially when my first impressions were a live stream, I was like, I'm gonna figure this game out while I'm playing it. Let's do this, right? And it took me quite a while to figure out that the first half of the bar on the bottom is your green health, and then the second half is your blue armor. Then also like there's multiple icons and stuff, and it takes a little while to figure out. Oh, like there's two blue icons. This one does this one does that. Blah blah blah. The whole thing. But yeah, I mean,
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, once you figure it out, though, it's way more simple than it seems on the surface.
I mean, even before
all the info's
that,
right there, but it's hard to see. I will say the little point markers, like, because they're up at that corner of your vision where you got to like really crane your eye up to see it right here. So, and sometimes the colors get lost in all the background stuff. So that's my only thing they should probably change or move. Or
well, when you die, you're
when you die, you can't see the numbers. You can't see the score well.
Some people told me that's the only time they look at the score is when they're dead. So I don't know. Yeah, see, I don't know different strokes, but
yeah, that's the only time I look at the score, because I'm too busy focusing on what's happening during the game.
Yeah, I just assume we're winning until I find out we lost.
Yeah. But so we talked about how to win a match. So, we talked about the scoring zone and stuff, and how kills don't really matter when it comes to the final score. But we didn't really talk about how this game differs from a lot of other first-person shooters and competitive shooters, like the way you pick up weapons, right? Who wants to cover it?
Well, I guess I'll take this one.
There we go.
There's pickups lying around. There's like little, I don't know, kind of like hologram projectors in the ground everywhere, and you basically once they spawn or respawn, because once you grab them, you basically just run over them. And there's weapons, there's shields, there's like assistive items that can assist you, like proximity mines, and stuff like that. There's two types of shields. There's one where it actually gives you like adds to your suit shield, and then there's one that's actual items, which are I think purple, which gives you either a proximity mine or a shield that you can actually place, and it gives you some nice cover. You plop it down, and it goes, and it gives you a little space on each side to shoot over and stuff, and that just adds a little bit more like to the strategy here. But essentially, yeah, you run and you just run over the items, you pick them up, and then once you pick them up, they disappear for a little bit. There's like a cooldown, and then they'll respawn again.
And one thing that I didn't realize, in some games like this that you've played in the past, like Unreal Tournament, where like I think you would run over a gun to pick it up, right?
Yeah.
You would just switch to that gun permanently, and you have that gun now, right? So with this, the guns you pick up are like picture up like a light gun game where you get a cool weapon for a limited amount of time. You get a machine gun until you run out of ammo, and then you go back to your pistol. That's exactly how it is here. So like if you get a grenade launcher, it has a set number of grenades, and I didn't learn this until I was in the middle of a firefight and switched back to a pistol and didn't know what the fuck was going on. And I'm just like, oh, that's not my shotgun anymore. How does this work? And then I just, got killed.
Yeah, they do start you off with like a little pistol thing, but they still handled it well where they put two hands on the pistol, because if you're using the aim, sometimes that can kind of break the immersion. I find this game, overall, I really appreciate how immersive it feels. I really find, I've always said over and over, of course, gameplay, when it comes to like the perfect VR game for me, there's two things it has to get. Number one, immersion. Everything you can do to be as immersive as possible. And from this game, like you said, even just booting up into a match and it puts on the helmet and the helmet boots up and stuff, that shit is immersive. And then the game itself and the gameplay and everything is immersive. Where all the hand placement is with all the weapons and everything, and the way it feels, especially with the aim controller. Oh, it feels so good with the aim controller. But these little tiny things that don't seem like much are actually really important to me, and I think they nailed it.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that.
Brian, you want to get the tip?
Sure. That's from Woody the Bluebird with a $5 donation saying, loving all of this love for Solaris. Please, can I plug the fan-created Discord here? It's called Solaris Offworld Community. So yeah, definitely, if you're looking to talk about the game, to hang out with people playing the game, definitely search for Woody the Bluebird's Discord server, Solaris Offworld Community. Also, don't forget that on the Without Parole Discord, we have our own Solaris channel, so there are plenty of places to find a game in case you happen to jump in, there's no one playing. Yesterday I had no problem whatsoever, just to make this totally clear. Yesterday I jumped in, no problem whatsoever, it was a good time. And then today we had a little bit of a problem getting some games going, which was strange. I jumped in with two other people, and the game seemed to have no problem at all, like throwing a fourth person our way to get on our team. And then it was just like, we would be in something that I do like, which is better than Firewall. While you're waiting for a game to start, you get to run around, basically have some fun, practice shooting each other and practice with the weapons and stuff, just like a warm-up mode. And so that's really good, but I had some shockingly long warm-ups today waiting for our team. You had the same thing.
Well, so that was going to be one of my, we were starting with the positives.
I know.
The negatives. That was one of my negatives.
It's tough with this.
Around that system. Yeah.
It's tough with this because we want to be like, oh, it's so great that like you're not just staring at each other's avatar and like, but and that is really, really good that we do have this. But yeah, we will get to our negatives later, and that will be one of them. Did we have more positives to talk about before we move on?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a lot of positives to say about this game. I mean, Dave was talking about the helmet, putting the stuff on. I mean, even before that, just the main menu itself, the music, I really, really like the music in this game. That whatever that song is. Whoever did the music did a great job. I think it's really cool, and I thought it was funny that the game actually comes with the soundtrack. But you have to, with PS5 at least, I don't know if this is PS4 as well, you have to put in a USB stick and copy the soundtrack. So I want to do that and actually check this soundtrack out. If I didn't have to do those extra steps, if I could have just played it from the PlayStation itself, I would have checked it out, but I'll do the other thing. But the music and the sound effects overall, I'm definitely a big fan of. Again, there's a couple little similarities to Firewall, like when you hit targets and it makes that like that pat 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 pat, and you kind of hear you hitting them, but mostly it's all futuristic stuff here. But the music is really awesome. I love the music. The sound effects are awesome. And I know some people were kind of complaining about like the footsteps in there.
Somebody told me it sounded like a horse was running around on the space station. And once they said that, I couldn't unhear it, and it really does sound like you're galloping around on the space station.
I'll tell you what, like while I understand maybe some people's problem, I didn't have a problem with that personally because
I just thought it was
basically
funny. It didn't take me out of it. Yeah.
the reason I thought it was kind of important is because you can hear those footsteps and you can hear those footsteps coming from all around you to know when there's people sneaking up on you and stuff. So I actually think it goes into the gameplay a little bit. So it's actually kind of important.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But I know if people are like watching the stream and they just hear a bunch of footsteps, it's going to drive them crazy. But didn't bother me personally though.
Yeah, there's also plenty of audio sliders too. I know some people are like, "Can you turn the announcer down?" And it's like, "Yeah, there's sliders for all that stuff." I think it was Imzadi who was like, "I can't even watch your stream. These footsteps are killing me." And I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't realize." Because when I was in the game, when I was playing, like even without turning anything down, it sounded totally fine to me. I never thought once like, "Wow, these footsteps are ridiculous." And then even again playing today after seeing that comment, I was like, "Nope, this not bothering me during the game at all." Maybe I'll have to turn that down a little bit for my review footage, though.
Snap. First Contact says our audio guy did Firewall and John Wick. I actually like the music in both of those a lot too, and I like this one too.
Nice. They also mentioned that there was the servers had a hiccup in multiplayer today. So the problem that we experienced certainly could have been that. So we'll be playing a lot
that's
more.
What happened to me last night too, because we had like 3 or 4 matches in a row where we just got stuck trying to load in. And that's kind of where, when I mentioned like being stuck in the helmet is a pain in the ass, that's when that happens and you just can't even get into a match.
I only had one match, and out of several hours, only one match messed up on me, and it seemed like server issues, which,
the funny thing was, I mean, like, it didn't seem like anybody's connection. It didn't seem like it was anything but server issues, because once it started working, it just kept working all night. So when he talks about hiccup, it's probably what that was.
Yeah. It was really nice to see that voice chat works no problem at all. It was super easy to invite people to the game. Like, I mean, these are all things that like have been, we played plenty of multiplayer games over the last 5 years on PlayStation VR, and like it's just crazy when you're like, are you kidding? There's no voice chat. We had Bullet Roulette recently, and it's like it's a social game where you sit around and talk to each other, and there's no in-game voice chat. And so just these kind of simple things that you wouldn't even think to ask, like, it's just nice that they work out of the gate.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, just go ahead,
dude. I mean, look. Yeah, like I said, I still have a bunch of positives going from audio. I mean, the gameplay itself, man. The gameplay using the aim controller feels so good. This is definitely much different than Firewall in that and I loved Firewall, man. I will never, you'll rarely find me say anything bad about Firewall, because my experience, 400 hours of experience with it, was basically amazing. Which is why we always keep it. It's like usually around top 5 and in our top 25 list. But the gameplay itself, man, it's so fast-paced. It is, but it's smooth, right? Like, there's a structure to this game that I feel is really awesome. Like, just the core gameplay, I feel is really good. It gets really competitive. It feels really balanced. Like, I don't feel like there's really an unfair advantage yet. I haven't run into that. And I'm sure they'll do some fine-tuning a little bit later down the line. But the gameplay itself in this, which is usually the most important thing to me, is they absolutely nailed it, man. Like it's fast. It's the aim feels precise. And like, the sliding stuff. I mean, I could sit there and run around and slide and run and slide all day long just because it's so much fun to do. Yeah, man, I'm just really, really satisfied with the gameplay here.
Yeah, one thing you were talking about where, like, the balancing and nothing feels too overpowered or whatever. Like, you can pick up a grenade launcher and you might think, oh my god, I'm the king of the world now. But it's hard to aim it properly. It doesn't explode when you want it to. You rarely actually get a direct hit and kill somebody. And the splash damage isn't that much, and it's got limited ammo. So, like, it's not the best thing in the world. It's just a different weapon.
That's
you know what I mean? It's like my favorite weapon is the really fast, like, assault rifle style, because if I can get a few headshots with that thing, I'm good. Like, it'll take out like 3 guys at a time. I've done it before. But like the grenade launcher, I'm trash with. So getting a more powerful weapon doesn't necessarily always mean that you're going to win the fight. So I like that balance there.
Yeah, there's a list of things that I keep thinking in my head. I'm like, I got to get better at this. I got to get better at this. And like, it's definitely when I see my opponents doing it way better than me, in terms of just like sliding whenever possible, just to sort of make your moving target, yourself a moving target, more mobile and more difficult to hit. Like some dude was running straight at me, and I shot with a grenade, and he slid right under it, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, And I was like, it's so seldom that I go, oh, look, my opponent just fucking like showed me what's up, and I think it's cool. But also, like, the grenade launcher, you have to hit X to make that grenade blow up, and unless you just want to wait for it to blow up. So like that is like a whole nother thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So it's legit.
Maybe that's
like
why I'm so bad with it. Yeah.
That's why I was terrible at it at first, and like I'm slowly getting better. But then even then, I'm like I'm so frantic when I play, and I'm always like, oh, and I'm just like shooting and then hitting X as fast as possible, so I don't forget to hit X, and then it blows up right in front of my face. It didn't even get to him, and so there's like a list of shit that I need to get better at, and it's fun to be like, okay, like it's not about, you guys know I love progression in games, right? Like I love boosting my skills, and like every time I play, I want to like be able to be like, oh, let's add 1 point to speed. Let's add 1 point to that. This game doesn't have that, and understandably so. But like it's got things that I need to work on, and it's very clear to me when I play. I'm like, ooh, I need to get better at this. I need to get better at that. And I'm actually looking forward to spending more time with it so that I can get better at those things, and actually focusing on, hey, don't forget to like let the grenade get to your opponent, Brian, before hitting X. Like it's not that, it doesn't sound all that complicated, but in the middle of a heated firefight, you're like, fuck, man, it's like I gotta think a little bit more and not just pull the trigger.
Yeah. So and the other thing about like wanting to play it more is, even though all the unlocks are cosmetic, I was playing around with this guy who was dressed up as this weird alien character that nobody else had, and he was just killing everybody, and I was like, fuck this guy, I want to become him someday. I want to wear that outfit, and I want to be that guy that people are like, who is this alien, what the fuck is he killing everyone for? And like that kind of thing I didn't think was be exciting to me, but I'm actually like, after playing it enough, getting a cool skin like that is enough of an enticing thing that I'm gonna want to unlock it.
So that was the final comparison I think I was going to make to Alvo, which was Alvo had basically no progression system. It did have, I guess, some weapons you could unlock and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's the whole shop system. You got to earn money and buy stuff and upgrade your weapons.
But it lasted. But it was like a couple hours and you have everything, right? And so like you could blow through it really fast. And then there was like skins and stuff, player skins that you could get, and they're all unlocked from the get-go. Even though this has a minimalistic, just like different models and skins, I still feel like there is a reason to keep playing. Like there is something to work toward, that there is some kind of progression, some kind of reward that they don't just give out right away, that you have to grind and grind and grind for. And there's a really fun game at the core. So while it doesn't have the depth of the progression that like Firewall had, I still appreciated that there is a progression system here, because it makes it feel like it's worth my time coming back to, that I actually can unlock something. Like you said, that weird alien head, I heard tons of people that I was playing with talking about that, saying like, oh, that looks straight like out of Destiny. Like I'm a big Destiny fan, and I want that, like that's right up my alley and stuff. So and me, I've got like the level 10 setup stuff, level 10, 12 stuff like that. And I switched to it immediately. And so like, I like it. A game being really fun is great. That is probably the most important, but actually giving you a reward for coming back and playing is like super important to me.
So Billy Goat Catfish asks a question that I think a lot of people would like to know about a game like this. Is it noob friendly? I'm afraid to play if I will let the team down. Yeah, I think it is, actually, because this is not a game where people are going to be giving you shit about your KD ratio or, oh, this guy's, this guy sucks, whatever. Like, as long as you can stand in one place and not get killed,
let your team defend you.
You can help the team just by being the guy who stands there. And they'll be like, dude, thank you for getting those points while they're shooting the guys. Like, I haven't run into... I mean, it seems like from my first night with it, most people were letting their teams down the whole time anyway. So it's like, you'll be fine. People are still learning. Just hop in. But even after, I would say, like a couple weeks, I bet it'll still be pretty noob-friendly.
I mean, I saw Dead Ringer in the chat saying that he was dying a whole bunch last night, but he was still having a blast. And I think that's the most important part is like, and I've lost several matches too at this point by now, and I still have fun every single time. Like I had a good laugh, and these were with complete strangers I was playing with. But it's a great little, I've always said PSVR has always had a great community because it's smaller. So there's not the huge, once VR and stuff gets more popular, it probably get a little bit more toxic, a little bit more out of control. But everybody that I played with like was very social and like it didn't matter if they were amazing or not very good. Like we were just having fun at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So another question, actually, which is a different angle on the same one. Braxton says, is it noob friendly if you don't like talking, or is it more like Firewall where you have to talk with your team? I'd say it's you don't have to. Like in Firewall, if you don't talk, I will give you shit. I'm like, we need you telling me what's going on over there. I need your eyes on the ground. In this game, like I've played ones where nobody was really talking and it was fine. Like, you know what you got to do. Just go to the point, protect it, stand on it. Like, you don't have to talk, and I don't think anyone would give you any shit if you don't.
No. I played with a team that like only one person talked and we won and stuff. And I think if you do have a tight knit group and you communicate and stuff, like they're coming from this direction, or obviously in like most games that's gonna give you an advantage, a tactical advantage by communicating. But I would say absolutely not. You don't have to say a word in this game if you don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, you'll do better. Like, we did better when I was on a team with 4 people who were all talking, and we were all communicating. Like, hey, I'm going to go this and do that, or whatever. Like, I'm going to flank here. They're shooting from upstairs. You can still do call-outs, and if you want to play like that, you'll probably end up being the stronger team. Like, you'll probably win more. But it's not required. Not required.
Yeah, 100% agree. I definitely think that we did better when we communicated, especially when I was, earlier we were talking about that specific corridor zone that had the teleporters on each side of it. And like I died quite a few times before one of my teammates, I think Bell Ramio, was like, don't use the teleporters. Like let's flank from the sides. And if like you actually decide to say, hey, let's wait and go in as a team to like get them all at the same time instead of one person going into that zone at a time trying to take them down unsuccessfully. So yeah, you'll do way better if you talk. But it's certainly not Firewall levels of we need to coordinate every single move.
Yeah. Firewall is like essential for communicating.
Yeah, I mean, you can write the whole ship on a round just by saying, hey, dude, stand on the point more. And then you don't have to say anything else at all for the whole rest. Like, just one little guidance, and you can shut up. Like, you don't have to be constantly in contact. So.
Yeah, it's definitely. Well, I love that it separates itself. It separates itself from Firewall. It separates itself from Alvo. It's like I understand that we need to compare these things because that's what we do. And it's like if you're only picking one, and I guess you got to pick one, then you got to pick one. But like, man, this is so much different than Firewall or Alvo. The fact that like if you don't own all 3, you're doing yourself a huge disservice because they all 3 offer very, very different things.
Yeah.
Real quick, I see somebody in the chat saying their key didn't work. These are limited time keys.
Yeah.
You got to grab it first. If it didn't work, somebody got it already.
Yeah.
But I would appreciate, guys, if you do get it, let us know in chat. Please claim those. Say you got the last NA key stuff.
Yes.
Just so people don't scramble around wasting their time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, we said a lot of positive things about this game because there's a lot of positive things to what.
Yeah, we didn't say dedicated servers though.
Yeah,
dedicated servers. Woo-hoo!
Yeah.
All right. Now we're ready.
No, I mean, we could go on and on. There's dedicated servers. The fact that when somebody leaves the game, there's host migration, and there's also it's like when you die. I know a lot of people were frustrated because they were like, oh, I waited 10 minutes to get into a game and I died in the first 30 seconds. You respawn after 5 seconds. It's like, so again, right. This will offer things that Firewall didn't for players who are looking for something a little bit different. Lots and lots of positives to talk about. But I think because the show doesn't go on all night, we need to switch over and talk about some of the negatives. And I know a lot of people in the chat have been pointing out some of the negatives. And it's important that we say that currently here at launch, there's no crossplay with Quest players. And I have to say, thank God. Currently, because you got to give us a chance to get good, right? Give us a chance to get really good, and then open up crossplay. I mean, I know it's important to have as many people in there as possible, but holy crap, man! It's like some people have been playing on Quest for like what? How long has this thing been out? 8 months or something? I have no idea. Yeah. 6 months, 2 months? I don't care. Give us a chance to get good, and then open that up. But yeah, it's like obviously, hopefully that's something that gets addressed soon because we need as many players as possible. What?
If
Sorry, nothing. AJ and I were having a little eye joke, an inside eye joke.
So I'm gonna look. I gotta preface anything negative that we're about to say about this game. I gotta say, man, like I said, $12.50. So
Yeah.
there are things that I desire in this game or that I feel like were left out. But I can't be mad about it because I only spent $12. I bought this game. Like I didn't even ask for a key from First Contact. I was like, it's $12. Shit, I'll just buy it. Like like even if it turned out bad, it's like, well, I lost $12. So what? Like could have been worse. But
So all these complaints will be much more serious in 2 weeks when the price is $25. How about that?
That is correct.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So these are future complaints. These are complaints that I'll have in 2 weeks when the game is $25. But of course, so now some of the issues that came out with the Quest version was that like it didn't have squatting up. It has that in this version, thankfully. Because that would have been. That's a big deal to me. You have to be able to, if you want to play with your friends. There's been some games that have made this mistake before, and they've released a game without being able to squat up and play with your friends when you want to. And luckily, they have that here. It's like you said, they also have in-game voice chat. But, this game is a little light on variety and depth, I would say. Like, it's super, super fun. And there is some kind of progression that's just like cosmetic, but there's there's only 2-3 different maps that are kind of
3 different maps.
I
The
think
PSVR
there's
version
3.
has an extra one, and somebody said there's like day and night versions of the same, but that doesn't add much. You're not not outside most of the time.
Yeah.
But, Miles, I'm gonna get to yours because that was my first big issue too, but we'll get to that in a second.
So the PlayStation Store listing says there's 7 maps, and let me tell you right now that because of the graphic, there can't be. The graphical style, first of all, is making all of them look identical to me, right? I understand some of them have teleporters, some don't have teleporters. Immediately, that would be like, oh, okay, well, I know that I'm in a different map. And when you get to the score zone, you'll be like, okay, well, this is a different score zone than the last one. But for me, the guy who gets lost everywhere all the time, no sense of direction, I was like, all of the corridors look identical, all of the maps to me look identical, and it's and really I understand that after Firewall, this was one of the things I was scared about when we were leading up to this game's launch. I was like, man, it looks like they made a game that was easy to make maps for, right? So they just oh, let's draw a new map. I was like, fucking put it all together. Oh yeah, just use the wall textures from the last map. It's fine, because Firewall, I'm sure it took forever to make new maps because there's so much detail in those maps trying to make everything look realistic. So I get it. And for the price point, I'm like, yeah, sure, it's fine. But the fact is I've played for hours and I have no idea how many maps there are. Not really.
So I couldn't tell you how many there are, factually. But the one thing for me was I kind of got over that. When I look at the game and I'm not playing it, I think, wow, that's really repetitive and bland looking, that art design. But when I'm playing the game, my whole thing is, how do I learn in this space where I am right now, wherever the fuck it is, how do I get to this number as quickly as possible? And that's the info I'm trying to get. So there's a big 5 on my screen, and I'm running towards that 5, and I'm going to get there one way or the other. And so, the background sort of fades away, and it's just me on a, run towards the objective, and I sort of don't care in the moment.
Yeah.
But it could be a little more variety for sure.
Yeah.
You do start to notice the contours of the maps. Certain ones have areas that are choke points where it's there's an opening above and an area below, and you got to kind of hang out here and know the angles and stuff. And so I'm learning the features of the maps, but I couldn't name them or tell you what the style is for one, other than this is on a space station. This one is also on a space station.
Yeah. There's very little to distinguish between the maps here, but they do have some of them do have key things. One has open areas with no roof, and then and that are also separated, and then there's some that are all roofed in and stuff. So it's I actually used to love the multiplayer for Lost Planet 2. Yes, I'm going to bring up Lost Planet 2 again. And it had this kind of similar multiplayer style to this, where it was arena combat, and it was supposed to sound and feel like an arena and stuff. But that one also had, that was like the arena level or levels, and then there was like a jungle and like other, like a sci-fi looking jungle or sci-fi island and stuff. So I would love to hear what their plans for this game are. If there is a roadmap, do they plan on expanding on the game? I think is going to be something I'd really love to hear. Because if they expand on some of the content, really just cosmetically, because I think the core game is great. But just some stuff to visually mix it up a little bit. If they do that and do that well, I think that'll go a long way and make that eventually, once the price changes to that 25 price point, make it a lot easier to be like, yeah, absolutely. There's tons of stuff, because there's enough game there, but variety there is not, I would say, just yet.
I do want to respond quickly, though, to Steve IRE, who says that's not a good sign. Map design is massive in all multiplayer and online shooters. We're not talking about the actual level design. We're talking about the look and feel.
The design is good.
The level design is good. Like, these are well mapped out areas that are fun to play in. All of them. They
feels
just
like
don't look that great. They look samey, but it's the design itself is on point. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it does. Oh, good.
I was going to say, Shades of Grey Matter in the chat says, it seems like if every level just had one really unique art asset or level feature, it would really help distinguish the maps a lot better. This is part of my problem here. Dave's explaining that, when he's playing, he's, focused on this particular thing. And so, what the level looks like doesn't matter that much. But to me, when we're all trying to protect the zone, I can't do call-outs because I'm like, oh, the hallway. Well, which fucking hallway? All 4 hallways look exactly the same. Oh, above us. Well, where above us, man? Give me a fucking palm tree. I mean, not a real palm tree. It's a fucking sci-fi game. But give me something just to be like, that corner, rather than just being like, oh, where I'm aiming. Then they have to look at me and go, where's he aiming? Oh, up there. In fact, that doesn't work during call-outs. And so I'm having trouble communicating with my team because everything looks the same.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But that's and just to kind of put an end cap on the whole look of the game. I'm not sure if we have a lot more to say about the look of the game, but I do want to say that when we were again leading up to launch and I was seeing, I was like, oh well, at least this thing is going to be fucking razor sharp in the PSVR headset, because it was obviously designed for the Quest to make sure they could run smooth over there. It's very, very simple aesthetically. I was shocked when I put this thing on and saw lots of aliasing and just that it's not sharp. There's obviously no Pro patch, definitely no PS5 patch. This thing looks a little bit rough as far as the resolution's concerned. And I thought that how great would this thing look if every surface was had a reflective surface and you could see your characters reflected in the floor and the shots reflecting in the floor and everything just. If it was actual as high resolution as it could be with all of that reflective surfaces and stuff, I mean, I wouldn't have as much of a problem with the choices they made stylistically if it was
clear
from a technical standpoint. It was killing it, and it's not.
Yeah,
definitely not.
Yeah. The UI stuff is really crisp, but the game itself, the textures are a little blurry. With that loading screen, that thing is crystal fucking clear. It's gorgeous, but then
it is interesting. I mean, I do wonder, what is it that some games this late in the life cycle that we get are just not crystal clear after we've seen what the headset is capable of. And a lot of people think PS4 and stuff is super, or PSVR in general is super blurry just because of the way some games have turned out, resolution wise. But we've seen clear examples that it can look crystal clear and stuff. So it's just interesting to me. Maybe it's not something we're going to see this gen with PSVR 2 and stuff. Maybe it's something we're going away. I hope that's not something we see again where, PSVR 2 can go 4K but we're still getting games that don't even hit that resolution because of the game,
Oh, I think part of it is just to be able to get it to run this fast and without loading between areas and no hiccups or anything, because I didn't really have, besides lag, I had no frame rate issues at all. And it's a really, really fast-paced game with a lot going on. 8 people simultaneously doing stuff very quickly. So it might just be a matter of like making it run smooth.
How
and
much
standing
how much lag
down
did
the
you
road.
experience?
I had a few rounds, I would say occasional, and when it was bad, it was bad. I would shoot a guy dead in the face with a grenade, and he would just stand there, and then he would move a second later, and then I would die, and I'd be like, he didn't even shoot me. And like, so the lag got really bad at a couple times. And also, it's such a fast-paced game that is disorienting. I got a little nauseous just because I was like juddering so quickly. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it was rare. It was not often.
Around.
Yeah, yesterday I had some lag problems. Whereas, like, I saw my opponents were like here, then they were suddenly here, and I was like, well, I can't shoot them if they're not even a moving target. They're just teleporting around the screen. I was like, I can't do that. But today I had zero lag problems, so I'm assuming that has all been ironed out. As far as my experience goes, it's definitely ironed out.
Yeah, I will say though about the resolution and the look and stuff though, it's like you guys said, man. Once you get going and once you get into the gameplay, like you honestly don't even really care. Like
and like the gunfire looks good, the people dying looks good, the character animations are on point. Like it's good.
Yeah, like I didn't jump into the game and think like, whoa, this is super blurry or anything. Like I was like, okay, I wish this looked crisp, but it's whatever.
We got Future Past Scott Jessico here in the chat with PSN Harry Fellow PSVR GameCat for Life Real with a $5 donation saying, Future Past Scott just wanted to say thanks for Dave for streaming Solaris and for First Contact Entertainment for dropping a UK code in the chat that I got. Kill you all soon, LOL.
Hell yeah.
No problem, man.
Man, I can't wait to
another
get in
North
there.
America.
Thank you.
Hey, Jesus, these are falling out of the sky like,
Yeah.
I don't know, something that fall. Hail. Something.
Yeah, I was going to
I hope
say,
you guys grab
not
them,
many
man.
things fall out of the sky. Right?
Definitely grab them. And if you don't get it, I mean, so do we have any more negatives to get out of the way before we come to the conclusion of this game worth $12?
So I got some nitpicky stuff, and that's...
I do too, yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, the fact is like, so I love the slide. I feel like the slide feels better than Albo, right? Because Albo is like almost like a quick turning slide where it just drops you immediately on the ground and you're sliding. And I don't feel as though I have as much control in Albo, but maybe that comes down to experience. This slide feels good. It gives you the smooth motion that puts you down on the ground. It feels like you're sliding. It doesn't feel like your perspective just changed. But you can't shoot while you slide. And that to me is a problem. Here I am trying to like be... Yes, Dave.
Counterpoint. I think it's a design decision.
Almost got to go. What? Why do you think it's a design decision?
Because the slide is really, really good at getting you away from people. But if you were able to use that evasiveness, to me, it's like a dodge move. Yeah. And if you're dodging in Dark Souls, you can't also swing a sword while you're fucking dodging. You know what I mean? Sure. I think it balances things a little bit because if we could all slide and shoot,
everybody would be doing it.
It'd be a little too powerful, and it would just be like not an evasive move, or not like a closing space move. It would be like I can do whatever I want now because I'm a low to the ground and I can still kill you, like kind of thing. So I think it's a design decision. Frank is here. He can tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong. But
it could be. But I'm kind of with you, Brian. In that
he's gonna say you're right. Spoilers.
There's many times where I wanted to slide and shoot, but yeah, Dave could be onto something here for sure. Maybe
one thing that Stingray says that I do agree with is that he'd like to see melee. There are so many times I did this funny little dance, like when you're walking down a hallway and one guy wants to go left and then you're just like you can't figure it out. When you get up close with people with most of the guns, it's really hard to have an effective firefight at close range. And so some kind of melee, even if it doesn't kill somebody, just to bash them in the face would be super nice because those firefights get awkward. Really
100% agree. There were so many times where I was just face to face with somebody and we couldn't even shoot each other or do anything about it. We had to kind of squirm, wiggle away from each other, and really hey, hold on, just back up. Okay, now shoot each other.
Yeah. So there's that. The other thing that Miles brought up while we were playing, and I think is actually a really good complaint that can be fixed easily. It's a quality of life thing. Once you enter a squad match or enter a match at all, once you go beyond the initial main menu screen, you can't adjust any of your settings. And so we had people who started and they were like, oh crap, I forgot to switch to smooth turn. We had to kill the whole lobby, let them go back, switch their shit, and then come back in. And in the lobby screen, there's a little thing at the top that says settings that you just can't click. It's just there for no reason. Yeah. And so really, really need to let people adjust settings like that on the fly. Like if it's something like controller settings, audio settings, anything like that. There's no reason not to give it to people anytime they need it in a lobby. And so it just it's a weird decision. So hopefully that's something they can fix.
Not just that, but I want to be able to customize my character and change settings while squatting up and stuff, because I'm sitting there waiting for somebody to join and I can't do anything. I have all these customization, all these settings I could be fixing, and you have to back out all the way back to the main menu to be able to do that. So I totally agree.
Yeah, it's a minor thing, but it does compound when you're playing with multiple people who are all unlocking multiple things at different levels. And, like, hey, I do want to put this new skin on. Can we stop the whole lobby that we've been running for the past 20 minutes?
And come back.
Yeah. First Contact does respond to our sliding conversation, saying we did have shooting while sliding, but it turned into a slide fest with shooting all over the place. That being said, we're always watching and listening. And it, in the chat, even the chat is pretty divided as to whether there should be shooting while sliding.
I'm divided. That was one of the things. That's one of the things I was looking forward to the most. But I am kind of like, would it just be a sloppy mess and be kind of annoying?
Yeah, everybody would just be sliding everywhere.
Yeah,
which I'm okay with. I want to be jumping everywhere as well. Where's our jump button? No jump button.
Jump.
Come on.
Jump would be nice. Some jumping, some verticality, stuff like that.
Yeah,
for sure. But again, the level design and stuff is all pretty good as is.
Yeah, that's something that Alvo did spoil me on, was that jumping, going into slides and coming out jumping and running and just like being a really difficult target to hit. That was fun to try to learn and to use to your advantage.
I don't know if you guys out there have played Apex Legends, but that was one of the first things I liked about that as a battle royale, that you could do that run, jump, slide kind of like really cool movement style. So it's always good to see that in a game. Yeah.
Lots of minor complaints when it comes down to it. Overall, the game has been really, really fun, though. And as AJ said, when it's $12.50, we take all these complaints a little more seriously when the game is $25. But for $12.50, man, really good stuff. So where are we coming down on this thing as on our final review? Final review. It's been the 24 hours, but I'm ready to call it right now.
You ready to rate this sucker?
I'm ready to rate this sucker. Let's do it. Dude, I think everybody should play this thing. I think everybody should play this thing. $12.50. Everybody get in there now. Again, I said even worst case scenario, if this thing only lasts 2 weeks, if First Contact, which they've obviously been supporting this game, they're not going to give up on it. But even if worst case scenario they did, and this game only lasts for 2 weeks, I was like, for $12.50, man, I will play the crap out of this thing for 2 weeks, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And it's the perfect game to complement Albo. It's the perfect game to complement Firewall. All three of these games do radically different things. And although this has one game mode, the one game mode it has is really fun and really different than the other game modes in the other games. So like, add this to your collection and make it part of your aim-controlled multiplayer arsenal. It's great, man. Thumbs up.
Yeah, I think so. I will say, caveat, we should probably do a temperature check on this one every now and then to see if people are still playing. Because if it's $25 in 2 months and somebody's like, hey, Dave, should I buy this? And I'm like, well, I tried to get a match last night and nobody was playing. Then I'll say no, probably, unless you can get a group together. We have to, these kind of games evolve, as things move on. They'll probably add more things that will change our opinion of it. But right now, this week, if you want something cool to play with your aim controller, fucking buy this for $12.50. It's a no-brainer. Get a squad together and go out there and capture the point. Let's do it, man. I'm gonna play some more tonight.
Yeah, me too.
Me too, man. I've enjoyed this game a whole bunch. I'll be honest with you, man. I said it since we first saw the trailer. I was like, I'm not sure about this one. I'm not sure about this direction. I was not, and then yesterday I was like ready. I was like, okay, maybe I'm starting to believe, but I was like, but I don't want this to be like another. It's been so many times where maybe it's just the day before launch. I'm like super excited about it, and then we ultimately get disappointed. No, that is not the case here. I have absolutely loved it. I think even if you don't have an aim controller yet, I still think you should buy this game because it's only $12.50. And, I don't ever like to say just buy a game to support them, but I do kind of feel like that a little bit. But for me, it's more like buy the game now because now is like, not only is it the best time to play it right now, because it's going to have the most activity, it's going to have the most amount of people playing. Yeah. I do actually think that this game will have some legs on it in terms of like, that was one of my concerns was the kind of staying power of this game. But man, I don't know. Like, I really feel like you can get your money's worth out of this game pretty easily. And like I said, I feel like I already feel super satisfied with what I've played so far, but I still have reason to go back and play more and more. And if you get it now, then you don't have to pay the $25 later.
Right. Well, the fact is that, we like you said, we definitely always want to say, hey, don't pay now for something you're getting later. We've always said that.
Right.
We've always been like, this when things seem overpriced, well, they probably are. And keep your fingers crossed that like more content gets added later. I feel like First Contact did the right thing here. They said they're rewarding early adopters. They're rewarding people who don't mind jumping on the ground floor and saying, hey, let's see where this thing goes, and giving it to you at almost nothing. It's an amazing price. And, even when the price goes up to $25, like, I'm having a lot of fun with this thing. So I'm just like
25 is like the max I want to pay. But guys, at FCE, I would love to hear if there's some kind of roadmap. Definitely let us know. Keep in touch and let us know, because if you do have a roadmap for this game, plans to expand on it, that's going to be a big deal to me, in my opinion, because we don't have a lot of first-person shooters. We don't have a lot of aim controller shooters, online shooters, and ones that are good anyways. So this is there's a market for this. There's a player base for this, and I really hope to see this game continue to get supported. Be awesome, man. Would be would be such a treat for us.
And that was our conversation on Solaris Offworld Combat, which came out 24 hours ago, and we had a lot of fun with it. We're going to remain having a lot of fun with it. Make sure that you join our Discord. But guys, this show's not over, because we have 5 minutes to do video game 20 questions. Thank you, Game Scoop.
Hold on, before you do that. Hold on.
What?
Wait. Seasonal content, private matches, etc. are planned. So there will be seasonal content similar to what Firewall had, which actually worked out really well. Yeah, man, that is awesome, man. So they do have some plans. I just want to see more maps. They did a great job of adding maps to Firewall. So maps is where I would love to see.
Just wanted two responses here to Frank's voiceovers in the game. Frank's the announcer, by the way, in case anybody didn't know. I didn't realize it at first, and then when somebody pointed out, I was like, "Now I can't."
There's a time at which I want to match it. And he goes, "Come on!" And I was like, "Okay, it's definitely fucking Frank."
Yeah, I will say Frank's got a good voice. He's got a good announcer voice for this.
So
any announcer. Go ahead. Sorry.
So there's conversation about it in the chat. Twitcher, the single player Gamecast, says, was thinking about getting this, but all the talk of Frank's voiceovers is putting me off. And then Gabriel 004, the licensed to Meow Gamecat, Rayo says, in response, I'm turning Frank up so much that people who mute him can still hear him.
Nice.
Yeah, I do want to say if that is a problem for you, because I know for some people it will be.
There's a volume slider, man. There's a volume slider. Yeah.
Turn it up. Just turn off the volume slider. It's all good.
But I will say, like I said, man, I think he's got a good voice for it. He did a good job. But this is the thing for me personally. Announcer voices, they don't get annoying to me until like hours and hours. Sprint Vector comes to mind. Because Sprint Vector had a very, the two groups of people and stuff. After a long time is when I get I'm like, oh, I can't hear this damn announcer again, and I have to turn it off. But it takes a while. I can enjoy it for a long time.
I mean, it's important too. It's like it's good to know how much time you have left on the map, and it's like I haven't been annoyed. That's the case. I get annoyed very easily by a lot of things.
One thing that's worth noting is that the Quest version didn't have that, and I think still doesn't have that. So we got a different version. We got an extra gun, an extra map, and the voiceover, because they don't have that. Everybody I talked to was like, wait a second, what? Frank's doing voiceover? We didn't have any voiceover in our game. So in that way, I mean, like you said, announcing how much time is left, that the zone is moving, that sort of stuff. That's pretty helpful.
Yeah.
For sure. Because, I mean, we could totally go deeper into the strategy of the game and stuff and how the announcement helps. But, guys, the show's going to last all night if we don't get to 20 questions.
All right. It is time.
All right. And, guys, we're trying to keep this on a, since we do the show Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Dave's going to be the host Mondays, AJ's going to be the host Wednesdays, I'm going to be the host Friday for 20 questions.
I thought you meant in general. I was like, I didn't know about this.
Oh, no, just so we don't, just so we don't ever have to be like, hey, whose turn is it this week? Whose turn is it this day or whatever? So AJ has picked out the game and he's going to host the show. And that means Dave and I are going to be asking 20 questions. questions, 20 yes or no questions to try to guess the PlayStation VR game that AJ is thinking of. And of course, we're going to require a lot of help from you guys in the chat. We have 5 minutes on the clock. On your mark, get set, go.
AJ, is it a puzzle game?
No.
AJ, is it a shooter?
No.
Okay.
Does it support the aim controller?
No.
You almost said
That
yes.
was a stupid question after the shooter one, but
Well,
I
it could have been
thought about it once.
could have been boxed in, right? So
Yeah, that's true. Right.
does it require? Are the move controllers optional? I couldn't never figure out that.
Yes.
Okay.
The move controllers are optional. Is it like a fantasy game?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Can you climb in this game?
Like VR climbing?
What is the difference? How could I? What
Uh,
can you climb in the
you-
game?
can you climb
Can
in
you
the
grab
game?
a surface and lift yourself, like in the
No.
standard definition of climbing?
No.
But yeah, except now we don't know if like you can actually just look
That's-
up at a ladder and climb.
Oh, maybe you can. Maybe you can.
Right? Yeah, I don't like how that question just went down. But I don't think we have an answer. Okay, it's not a shooter, but can you shoot?
Yes.
Ooh.
Whoa.
I think.
Whoa.
Yeah, sure. Sure, let's just say sure.
And it's fantasy themed.
Yes.
Oh God. Oh
Hmm.
God. Is it an RPG?
We have so few of those.
That would narrow it down a lot.
A
Yeah.
lot.
Yes. Let's say yes.
Yes.
Well, it's not Shadow
Yeah.
Legend because that would have been an easy answer to the climbing question.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, Skyrim is like.
I love Logan Ledford. What are these codes for?
Welcome to the show, Logan. First Contact Entertainment is the company that
Just
makes
in time.
Solaris, and they're
We're on
giving
the
out
clock.
Solaris keys.
No more fun. No more
Yeah.
fun.
I mean, is there a flat screen version of this game?
Yes.
Yes. Ooh,
I'm so confused right now.
weird.
I
So-
didn't think about that one.
You use the. Oh, ooh. I have an idea.
I mean, Skyrim's the only thing I can think of. What are you thinking, Dave?
Well, he said it's not an RPG though.
He said it,
Or no, he said
It
yes.
is an
It
RPG.
is an RPG. It
which
is
means
an
there's only a
RPG.
few
Okay,
games
sorry.
that could be left.
Okay,
I think, yeah, it's an RPG. Yeah, it counts.
Can you be a vampire in it?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, Brian! I think we're getting close.
Let's just. I mean, is this game made by
Can
Bethesda?
wait, hold on. Oh god damn it! I wanted to ask if you could adopt a kid.
Can you adopt
Yes
a kid?
and yes.
Yes and
you
yes.
can adopt
It's
a kid.
Skyrim. Is it Skyrim?
Yes.
It is the Elder Scrolls 5
Yes.
Skyrim VR.
Less than 3 minutes.
Darkens.
Less than 3
think
minutes.
so.
Not too bad.
Darkens.
Just to make sure it's never Skyrim again, right up front we can say, can you be a vampire and can you adopt kids? Those are the two things I need to know. Like, there's
Excellent.
only one game where that's the case, I think.
I tried to, it's a pretty big game, pretty obvious one, so I tried to do a little misdirection there.
Yeah.
Where you're like, is it an RPG? And I'm like,
Oh, so that was all for
sure.
show. You
Yeah,
fucker.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
little-
Hey,
that
it
was
was-
wasting our
it was-
time on the clock, man.
It's
That's
an
not
easy
fair.
one. Good job, guys. Good job, chat. I saw them saying Dargans in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
They knew.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us and talking about Solaris and doing all the stuff that we do here on Gamescast. Don't forget, if you want to support us over on Patreon and be on this illustrious list of cats down at the bottom of the screen, head on to patreon.com/withoutparolegames. Also, make sure you join us over on Discord because not only are we going to have plenty of Solaris games going, but we are also kicking off our Gamecat multiplayer meetup night starting this Sunday. So make sure you're in on that. We can all play Wipeout together. And that's kind of it. Shout out to all the mods out there making our lives easier. Thank you to SciFiGamecatHenry, who does the timestamps for the show every single, 3 times a week. I was going to say every single week, but 3 times a week. Thank you so much, dude. You're doing God's work out there. And that's it, man. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to everybody who donated. Thank you to everybody who sat back and didn't say a goddamn word. Thank you, First Contact Entertainment, for giving away about 2,000 keys during the course of this hour and 15
Right,
minutes.
yeah, man.
Really
nice,
appreciate you
Thank
guys.
man.
And guys, let's go play some Solaris. Sound good?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it, man. Let's cue the cat because I want to see everyone on the hollow field. I want to see Rogue TR, Dark Angel 3, Super Dexter Murphy, Hack the Game Cat, Miles Dyer, Your Long Shadows, John Hunthrop says meow, Braxton B, Rody the Game Cat, Donatello dreaming about PSVR 2 Game Cat with a $5 donation.
Breaking news.
Great show. Go play
Breaking
some
news.
Solaris.
Sorry, breaking news. Donatello dreaming about PSVR 2 GameCat $5 tip says, great show. Go play some Solaris, everyone. Breaking news.
Delirium Drew VR, Christ on fist bump to you. Blue Jew, the underground Game Cat with the purple heart. Gabriel 004, the license meow Game Cat. Meow 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 meow. Ben Dawson, Justin Cassidy says time for Solaris. Steve IRE says anyone streaming it. JT Money in the house tonight. X Hick X Cash me outside. How about that Game Cat?
How about that Game Cat?
Brian?
How about that?
Bob
How
Clark off the
about
Underground, Dave Station Game Cat, the elitist name squad in the house tonight. Lewis Knight, PSVR. What is up, my dude? Hey, I'll have to catch up with you again, Lewis. I saw your message. Thank you for messaging me. Logan Ledford, thank you for joining tonight. Johnny Rap off the Straight Cat, Mr. Dust One, got the EU code. Congrats, man. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Juicy Cat says Rec Room. Oh, that was for a guessing thing. First Contact Entertainment in the house tonight. Love Firewall, loving Solaris. Thank you guys so much. Keep up the great work over there. Keep bringing us that PSVR aim goodness. Twitch for the single player Game Cat. Johnny No Pockets, aka the Who Dat Game Cat. Patrick M, thank you so much. Raymond Garcia, thank you so much. The Random Guy and Co. David, the Game Cat. Hope you feel better, brother. Think about you. Mzadi, thank you so much for joining tonight. Dave Station VR in the house tonight. PT is in the chat, guys. PT Playable Teaser is in the chat. PSVR Zone is also in the chat tonight. Thank you so much. Stingray X. I think that is almost everybody. Lots of you guys here tonight supporting. Thank you so much.
I gotta say,
Love
what I need to do very soon is create a few alt accounts with names that you're gonna put like the stank on. Like anytime there's a Garcia or like an Italian sounding name, you gotta like throw some extra sauce on it, and you always do that. And I want to just have a bunch of guys.
You don't even
like,
have to, man. You don't even
Alonso
have to.
Villanueva, like you're just gonna be like Villanueva, and I know you're gonna do it.
Villanueva. We've also got Deathly, the Death Cat.
That was
Raymond Garcia right
that was
there.
Some metal stack on there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Metaphor. Flame Hat, Game Cat. Love you
Take it
guys.
easy, folks. See you out there in